Okay, it is another amazing Friday right here on the Art of Encouragement. I'm Nick Patterson, joined with, of course, my amazing co-host, Mark Gai. Not sure if we'll see Greg today or not. He's got a lot going on, but we do have special guest Brenda Brown with us today. So we're excited to meet her in just a little bit. But Mark, tell me, what do you have going on today? How's your week been? Tell me all about it, buddy.
It's been good. I've been traveling the world, as you know. I spent a couple nights at the hotel rooms, 3 days on the planes, 2 days at the airports. So, my body is adjusting, like, okay, where am I? What is happening? Oh, okay. So, but otherwise, it's good. It makes you appreciate, travel is one of those things that is hard to do sometimes, but the creativity, the imagination, the ideas, it's so long lasting. So if you can travel, do it. If you cannot, travel outside of your, not outside of your mind, but outside of your regular routines so you can get some ideas. So that's what's been going on with me. So
Okay, I want to verify really quickly that we are successfully broadcasting, okay?
Yeah.
So excellent. So if I seem distracted, that's what I'm doing there. Oh no, we are live and it is working well. So I'm excited about that. If you are watching live, we just appreciate it right now that you join us and you encourage us in the chat, in the comments. So today, as if you have questions of Brenda, feel free to drop those in our chat here on Facebook Live, and we'll be glad to answer those. So, Mark, last week we were giving that kindness challenge. Remember, we spent a lot of time focused on kindness. Did you do anything intentionally this last week to show kindness? I had three people from our audience do intentional things that we mentioned, and wow, it was such a blessing. I I really appreciate it. Tell me about yours.
I at any one point we have, like internal conflicts within ourselves, like there's somebody said this or some unsettling things have happened and we let it grow. And sometimes it's so difficult to get out of it. What I have discovered this week, and I have been reinserted in certain situations, and I'm thinking like, wow, I'm feeling better. I'm feeling more light. I'm feeling not stuck, and I don't have to suffer through this, whatever I've been suffering through before. And I'm just kinder to myself. I'm kinder to others because I know they doing all that they can. So yeah, I feel like this has been a good challenge for me, and nothing earth shattering, but I feel kinder to myself. And in fact, maybe it's the summer, maybe it's the breathe. I don't know. Something is happening. So I'm grateful for that.
That's fantastic, Mark. And, you know, without, I think, being intentional with kindness and us practicing those small steps that lead to larger actions. Again, if you're the introvert that wants the world to be a better place, but you don't know that you would be comfortable with those grand gestures, starting with simple things, sending a text, commenting on social media, small steps to show that, hey, I'm rooting for you. It's an amazing way to support those in our circle. And even those that we know might be struggling or needing a boost of self confidence, it's a way for us to encourage them as well. And talk about encouragement today. I can't wait to introduce you even more fully, Mark, to my new friend Brenda Brown of Brenda Brown Entertainment. Brenda is a powerhouse. She has an amazing reputation in the entertainment industry for being someone that makes things happen. She helps authors, she helps musicians get to that next level in their outreach, in their approach, in their connections. And she not only does that, but she's got an inspiring story where she's lost it all. She's gotten it back. And I don't know which parts she's going to share with us today. I can't wait. But I would love to give Brenda the floor now and just introduce herself to our audience and give us a message of encouragement today, Brenda. Please. Can't wait to
Well,
welcome you.
hello, and thanks for having me. I really appreciate you sharing this time with me. One of the things I really try to focus on is people sharing time with us. You know, a lot of times people don't understand, unlike a bank account, you put money in, you draw interest from the bank account. Once you spend your time, it's gone forever. So we need to really show appreciation when someone takes the time to share with us. That's one thing I try to live by. The other thing is yeah, I've had an amazing journey through my life. Lost my dad when I was only 14 years old. That set me on a course of craziness. But I I heard a slogan in a program I belong to called "Don't look in your rearview mirror, you're not going in that direction." And I really try to live by that as well. But Nick or Mark, if whatever questions you ask me, I'm an open book, and I'll freely tell you whatever I'm capable of remembering at this stage of my life. Because sometimes the memory slips away a little bit. I'm getting up there in age.
Yeah, I think we forget the bad stuff most of the time, right? Like, oh, yes, it happened. And hopefully focus on the good. At least it's been my experience. And unless it's really triggered and excavated, I said, well, okay, oh, that was bad. But I I I am also advancing in my years. But let's not dwell on the sad part. I think there's beauty in all journeys, right?
Yes, of course.
So how did you get to know Nick? How did you connect? I'm curious.
This is fun. So I have one of my sons, Brian, he this is so funny. Brian is like super talented also. He's a singer-songwriter, but he also has two jujitsu gyms right there where Nick lives in Jacksonville, Florida. So, but Brian, I think, was looking for a piano, and I think he hooked up with Nick, and Nick is the most gracious, giving human being. It's like they hooked up and now they're friends. And then Brian, I guess, told Nick a little bit about me. And Brian called and says, "Mom, can you help my new friend out?" And I go, "Of course. What does he need? What is it?" He goes, "Well, Mom, he plays Carnegie Hall." I went, "Oh, that's really wonderful, honey. I mean, nothing really excites me anymore." No offense, Nick, but my kids have a tendency to get super enthusiastic about some stuff, But he's so cute, and he goes, he's a super nice guy, He has God in his life, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, I can be if I can be of service at any time to anybody, I try to be every single day. I try to do something good for someone else, and so. I we hooked up on the phone and Nick needed some direction because this guy, Nick, I'm sure you know this. I mean, pianist extraordinaire. He plays like, oh my gosh, he makes me weep. He's so good. His skill is amazing. Anyway, we started chatting, and then he goes, "Well, can I just hire you?" And I'm thinking, "Oh my gosh, this was so unexpected," because I was just trying to be of service to help him with a couple of things, but now Nick's a client of mine. So that's kind of fun.
This is what Nick's character is. He doesn't hesitate. He sees an opportunity. He sees a great connection, and I think this is something we can all learn from Nick. I can learn from Nick. Is that he takes action. He takes action. So yeah, action takers, I think overall, get things moving.
Oh, yeah. You know what? You don't ask, you don't get, because what's the worst thing that can happen? Someone says no. And I learned a long time ago too, no is a complete sentence. It doesn't need an explanation.
That's it. Hey, Brenda, I've got a question or two for you here. Can you tell us the biggest challenges you faced in the entertainment industry? How did you overcome them? And for those people getting started, either as a motivational speaker, an author, or a musician, how would you encourage them to direct and to plan their full scope of career? So, a couple questions thrown in there, both you and they.
Okay, so first of all, I was in the automotive industry for 28 years. And, they didn't get the reputation by accident. And it's a horrible industry. I mean, it's gotten a lot better now, but when I was in the business, it was so bad. I mean, people would come in to trade a car in, and the salesperson would throw their keys on the roof so they couldn't leave. I mean, I'm just telling you, it was craziness like that. But I never thought I would find a business more filled with sharks in the water than the auto industry. And I'm telling you, the music business is just that. And so whether I'm dealing with a record label or an independent author or artist, before I take on a client, I fully vet them. I do a complete background check on them because, I've been screwed over. And, my time is valuable to me and I don't want to waste it either. So that I think we need to do due diligence on anybody we do business with. That's my bottom line for me. And as far as being an independent artist, author, keynote speaker, whatever your lot in life, and I don't care what it is, you need to do your research and no is not the end. I mean, I can't tell you how many people I have watched that are mega stars that talk about how many no's they've heard, whether they're actors or musicians or whatever. This is not a lighthearted business. It's not for the faint of heart. It's very tough because, I know a lot of people in the industry, but I don't know everybody. I can contact anybody you can name. I've got a program where I can contact anybody, their management, anybody that you can name. But you know what? All the people I know in the industry, sometimes they just don't have time to talk to you. They're busy. We're all busy. So when you get a no, find the silver lining in the no. Well, why did they say no? Or what could I have done differently? Or how could I serve it up with a better approach? But for me, I think attitude is everything. I think if you possess a positive attitude, you can achieve whatever you need to achieve. But I also truly believe, and for some people that, they may think, yeah, whatever. I think God's in charge. So I think God's always on time. And even though my life has not been perfect, it's as perfect as it's supposed to be, according to what God thinks I deserve and what I'm needing in my life. How's
Yeah,
that?
I like your part about the no, it's not the final thing. And it also kind of forces who receive the no to think not just in black and white, but think, well, it's not personal, right? Most of the time. It may be personal, but why take it personal? Why make it personal? Person may be busy. Maybe it's not your time. Maybe it's not your tribe. Maybe I don't whatever it is. Could be millions of reasons, right? You don't have to see it worse, don't have to see it better, but I don't think you have to take it personal at all.
I've got a little caveat for you guys. Before, we just had our Oscars, right? The Oscars a few months back, and I'm on the board of directors for a nonprofit Global Women's Empowerment Network, GWEN for short. And our tagline is "We can't do Gwen without the men." I think that's just adorable. anyway, I was doing airport runs, picking up guests and entertainment for our events, and I pull up to the Burbank Airport in Southern California to pick up one of our entertainers. His name was, I just knew his name was Tom at the time and how he would be dressed. So I pull up and I go, Tom, and then I had an expletive I won't say here. Kaz, is that you? And he goes, oh my gosh. And it was this guy I had met over 20 years ago in Las Vegas. His name's Tom Kaz, one of the most unbelievable entertainers I've ever met in my life. I mean, he does he does hypnotist. He's a singer-songwriter. He has a nonprofit called Whiskey Town Warriors, where he's giving all these profits to the wounded warriors and mental health and everything. He's just a stand-up guy, and he's been trying to get this off the ground for a long, long time. And then I hook up with him, and then we're talking at the meeting and everything, and it was just unbelievable. I mean, at our pre-Oscar event. And then we started talking and chatting, and now he's a client of mine. I'm on his management team, actually. And we're doing a deal with, we just did a deal with Sony Orchard for him. We're doing a show in Pensacola, Florida for him. But you can just look up, Tom Kaz, it's Thomkaz, and look at what this guy has accomplished and the powerfulness of what he's trying to accomplish for our veterans in this country. He's a stand-up, superb human being, and I'm proud to be working with him. So it's weird things like that that happen. Like, I have this event, I'm on the board of this organization. I go to the airport, pick this guy up I've known for over 20 years, haven't seen for over 20 years. I'm working with him now, and it's like, I don't know, serendipity maybe, or a God shot, you know. You can call it what you want, but I'll tell you what, everything and everybody in my life has some positive reinforcement, or they're not in my life anymore. That's the other thing. I don't want any negativity around me either. So, one foot in front of the other and just keep plugging along. And that's about it.
I love it. I love it. Mark?
Yeah, you said serendipity. Such a beautiful word.
I love that word too.
Serendipity, like what does that mean? I think there was a movie, right? A few years ago, A Love Story, perhaps.
Yeah.
That was a good movie. I really enjoyed. I
About the
watched it.
book.
Yes, the book was Love in Time of Cholera, right? They put like $5 in
Yeah.
the phone number. And it's the whole thing, right? I have not seen those actors recently, but yeah, pretty good movie. So also about relationship building, right? In this business that you are
Oh,
in. Isn't
and the
that
other
true?
thing is, I will tell you, one of the most important things in this business is, never burn a bridge, never be disrespectful to people in the business, whether they like you or they don't. And if they're rude to you, that's on them. That has nothing to do with you, you know? And if people are disrespectful to you, that has nothing to do with you. Those are their issues. And you can't take things personally in this business because you're either confident or you're not. And you know that old saying, when you point your finger at someone, there's three fingers pointing back at you. So everything you point out in other people, it's a reflection of what you really feel about yourself, in my personal opinion.
How do you deal with boundaries? I wonder, like a sense of boundary, because I understand emotionally, physically, intellectually, what they go through, what you go through, but how do you work on the boundaries in any insights on that you can share
Well,
with us?
I have a clear set of boundaries for myself. I don't allow negativity in my life. I don't allow doom and gloom. If you don't want to have a positive attitude, and you know what, we all go down. We all get down in the dumps sometimes. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people that if their lips are moving, they're saying something negative, right? And if you want to live in what I call the muck, you want to live in the muck, that's your deal. I'm not climbing in that pool of water with you because I like to feel clean and fresh all the time. I don't want to swim in the muck. So if you've got negativity, and the thing is, you know, I've been in sales my entire life, you know, and I can tell when someone's trying to sell me, right? And so I can smell negativity. I can smell all the cons. I can smell it all. And I've been fooled a couple of times, you know. But you know what? They became learning lessons. So whatever. It's not going to affect me. I'm just going to pick myself up, dust myself off, and start all over again. No one can't don't reside in my area.
Did you say no and can't?
Yes.
Is that what you said? Okay.
Mhm.
It's good to know.
Love that.
Yeah.
Hey, Brenda, could you share with us any inspirational stories? Any people that have started like down here, just those making their way, and then they've any just cool success stories of, you know, the journeys you've been part of or ones that you've seen and that sort of thing. Just maybe,
Well, one of my favorite stories that I had, you know, I was part of a bit was Cody Lee. Do you know who Cody Lee is?
yes.
Cody Lee won America's Got Talent a few years back. He's blind and autistic, and he won the $1 million on America's Got Talent. And now he headlines the AGT live show on the Strip in Las Vegas. But, you know, I remember sitting at home before I'd ever met him. And I was sitting at home with my then partner, John. Um, I love America's Got Talent. I like all the music shows because I've gotten some great clients from these, you know, reality shows too, because I'm really focused on it. And one of my best friends, he casts for The Voice also. So I've got a little foothold all over the place, you know, it's really fun. But I remember sitting with John watching the America's Got Talent show, and this kid came on with his mom with his walking stick and his mom holding his arm. And he's one of 25 prodigious music savants in the world. Like he can hear something in any language and sing it and play it on the piano pitch perfect. It's unbelievable. And you know, he can answer questions with you, but he's not conversational, like he won't start a conversations, you know. But when we were watching the show, I looked at John, I said, this kid's gonna win America's Got Talent. And I was sobbing watching him. And then he plays what was the song? Oh my gosh, it's one of my favorite songs. It's a Donny Hathaway song. Um, and he played it on the piano, and it was just him vocally and the piano. You should look him up, Cody Lee. It's Kodilee. Or you can go on my website and see it. Brenda Brown Entertainment plug. But he was just amazing, and then he wins, and that's a Cinderella story in and of itself, right there. So there's that. Then there's just been so many different things, you know. It's like here's a good story for you that is crazy. Do you know who Artie Kornfeld is? Okay, have you heard of Woodstock? Artie is the creator of Woodstock, original Woodstock. And he's my music mentor in the music business. And him and Michael Lang created Woodstock. They wrote it, produced it, directed it, the whole 9 yards. You know, Jimi Hendrix, all those people were there in Woodstock. Great, one of the greatest peaceful events of all time. It was on the cover of Life magazine. And Artie was also the youngest vice president at Capitol Records at the age of 24. He's in his 80s now, and I talk to him a lot. And you want to hear something shocking? Shocking. This guy has hundreds of Grammy nominations for his songwriting, vice president of Capitol Records, Woodstock. never ever been considered for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Is that crazy?
That's it. It just shows that the impact that event had on culture and almost the repercussions there.
There you go. And
That's
you
a
know what
good
it is?
repercussion.
Because the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is all politically driven. And because, okay, have you ever heard of the Freedom Riders, Nick?
Yes.
Artie's mom founded the Freedom Riders. Okay. And because of his, I would say probably because of his liberal stance on a lot of issues, and peace and all that. That's my reasoning why he hasn't been inducted into Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, in my personal opinion. You know, I don't care what anybody's politics are. It's none of my business. But you know, this guy, music business wouldn't be what it was without Woodstock or Artie Kornfeld and Michael Lang. It just would not be. And for anybody to deny that is just crazy for me.
It was definitely a defining moment of a generation and of a time because I know about it and I was born years after it, and it still defines a time kind of on my timeline. So,
Right, and he wrote a book called, because they call him the Pied Piper, you know the story about the Pied Piper, right?
yes,
Because he's got all these followers, right? He can still garner $150,000 for a speaking engagement at his age, you know? But he's not really traveling much anymore. His health is ailing a bit, and he's had some issues. But you know, he wrote a book called The Pied Piper of Woodstock. In fact, I work with Artie directly. I manage him also. So I've got his book on my website also. It's available at, as a paperback or audiobook or Kindle or whatever that's called, or iBook. You can find his book, and let me tell you something, it is worth the read. You want to know some insights into the industry? That's a great book to read, The Pied Piper of Woodstock.
awesome. Well, Brenda, it has been amazing having you on today. It really has. Do you have any closing remarks you would like to give to our listeners today?
Well, I'll tell you a little personal story from myself.
Yes.
8 years ago, my daughter died, and she was my first true love, my firstborn. And life can always be worse. You don't think it can be, but I had her for 40 years, and oh my gosh, I loved her like no other. But you know what? Some people will ask me, gosh, how do you deal with that? What is it? Well, what's the alternative? I have so much left I want to accomplish in this life. And I keep her with me. I feel her presence with me. And that's it, one foot in front of the other. I put a tattoo on my right foot actually that has her initials and it says sunrise and sunset. And sunrise is when she was born, sunset is the day she passed away. And I put it on my right foot because every step I take, I start with my right foot. I take her with me. So, things could always be worse. Don't ever think they can't be, because if you say, can this get any worse? I promise you it can. So try to keep an open mind and a positive attitude and put your best foot forward always regardless whatever you're working on. Whether you're working in a grocery store or washing cars for a living or trying to make it in the music business, do the very best you can. And my thing is always try to be of service to others, because I learned being of service to others is being of service to yourself.
That's it. That's it. Thank you so much. I hope we can have you back on. You've got so many other cool stories. We'd love to have you on another time, and just appreciate your support, your encouragement in my life and my career. It's fantastic getting to know you, and I look forward to our journey together ahead. And I'm just so appreciative of you. Mark, thank you so much today. Any closing remarks, buddy?
I liked what Brenda have said about service to others. It's a recurring theme I have experienced today and also yesterday as well, service to others, service to others. What does it mean? How does it go? What are we doing with it? How does it reflect in our life? So I'm grateful you reminded me about this because I really believe it. Service to others. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you guys for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brenda. And for everyone out there, remember, kindness matters. It matters to give from our hearts, not just when we'll get something out of it, but because that's what we're supposed to do. And like Brenda said, it always comes back to us. It always comes back to us, but that's never our motivation. As you go forward this week, serve others with your whole heart. Serve others and be kind. The world needs kindness. The world needs love, and you have the opportunity to model that this week. So be the change you want to see in this world. I'm Nick Patterson. We've got Mark Gai, Brenda Brown. Next week we'll be back, and we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Bye.